Mount Everest stands 29,031.7 feet above sea level. It is the highest piece of ground on Earth, and every climbing season, people hand over serious money for the chance to attempt it. Most coverage of Everest stops at the sticker shock. A big number gets quoted, everyone shakes their head, and the story ends there. The better story begins where the invoice begins. A climber who pays for a place on Everest is buying a specific list of things, and each item on that list exists for one reason. At that altitude, ordinary problems turn deadly. Follow the money up the mountain and the price starts to make sense. This video walks through what a climber actually buys when they pay for the world's highest mountain. Hey, it's CJ, the creator of this channel. If you want to make YouTube videos like this, then topic2video.com will handle everything for you. Just input your topic, choose a video length, and a full-length video about your topic will come out the other side. I know it sounds simple, but it's true. Try it for free today at topic2video.com. Start with what the payment looks like on paper. A climber signs with an expedition operator, and the contract reads like a supply agreement. The price of a guided Everest expedition can include travel to the mountain, food and shelter for weeks, climbing equipment, trained staff, communication gear, and the preparation of the route itself. Every one of those line items answers a physical problem. Everest sits on the border between Nepal and China, far from any city, in terrain where a vehicle becomes useless past a certain point. Nothing needed for the climb waits there in advance. The expedition has to bring it, carry it, and keep it working in cold that kills batteries and wind that shreds tents. The money a climber pays becomes the fuel for that entire operation. The honest way to read the price is as a checklist, and each part of this video covers one section of it. The first thing the money buys is permission. Everest straddles the border between Nepal and China, and the governments on each side control who gets to climb. A climber pays for a permit that makes the attempt legal. A permit is official permission to enter a controlled activity. The payment comes before a single boot touches the trail. Access costs more than paperwork. The mountain sits in one of the most remote high altitude regions on Earth, so reaching its base takes its own operation. Climbers fly into the region, walk for days on approach trails, sleep along the way, and gain elevation slowly. The approach gives the body time to adjust to thin air. Operators built that process into the schedule on purpose. Acclimatization means gradual adjustment to a change in altitude. It takes time, so the climb cannot begin at the mountain's highest point. By the time a climber reaches Everest Base Camp, the money has paid for weeks of travel and preparation. The expedition begins far below the snow. Above base camp, money pays for tents, stoves, fuel, rope, food, and equipment. People must move all of it uphill through terrain where every extra pound adds work and risk. Logistics means planning and moving the people, supplies, and equipment needed for an operation. Expeditions place a chain of camps up the mountain, and workers stock each camp before climbers use it. Every tent at a high camp, every stove, every coil of rope, and every meal reaches that camp on a person's back or an animal's, one load at a time across some of the most dangerous ground on the planet. That's crazy. Workers make hundreds of small deliveries to create a usable route. They also fix ropes in place on the hardest sections before climbers arrive. Climbers can clip into those ropes and move with protection instead of relying entirely on their own skill. Workers move this freight for every summit attempt. The cost comes from the repeated movement of ordinary objects through extraordinary terrain. A meal, a fuel container, and a tent all become part of the climb only after someone gets them where they need to go. People make up a large part of the expedition price. A guided expedition pays climbers with deep experience on the mountain, high altitude workers who carry loads and build the camps, cooks who keep everyone fed for weeks, and base camp staff who track conditions and coordinate movement. Experienced guides can recognize exhaustion in a client before the client feels it. Workers who stock the upper camps face the mountain's risks repeatedly. So paying clients face those risks fewer times. A climber's payment covers that judgment and labor directly. Gear can be replaced during a trip. Guides and workers must already be on the mountain when a dangerous moment arrives. This also changes what the climber is buying. The service includes decisions made under pressure, repeated work across the route, and people who keep the expedition functioning while the client focuses on climbing. The price reaches human labor at every stage, from preparing food to managing movement between camps. Check this out. The summit stands at 29,031.7 feet, and at that height, each breath delivers far less oxygen than a body gets at sea level. Up high, a person weakens even while resting, appetite fades, and thinking slows at exactly the moment clear thinking matters most. Climbers spend weeks moving up and down the mountain so their bodies can adjust in stages, and that slow schedule is part of what the expedition price pays for. Time on a mountain is expensive. Every extra week means more food, more fuel, more staff hours, and more nights of shelter. The price can also include bottled oxygen for the highest sections, radios that keep climbers connected to base camp, and detailed weather forecasting. These supplies and services help staff respond when altitude causes a serious problem. At extreme altitude, a small delay can become an emergency, and an emergency can become a death. That's crazy, right? The safety equipment, extra time, and trained staff give climbers more time to respond when conditions turn dangerous. Safety support works through several connected parts. Communication lets people share information. Forecasting helps the team choose when to move. Staff and equipment help the team act on that decision. Each part supports the others, so the fee covers a system rather than one object. Weather on the upper slopes sets the schedule even after the expedition has purchased and placed everything. Conditions are violent for much of the year, so expeditions plan around brief windows of calm and wait for them. A climber can spend most of the trip waiting, and the price covers that time. Patient teams hold position and try later when rushing would put climbers at greater risk. When a calm period arrives, the oxygen, ropes, stocked camps, forecasts, staff, and climbers' own body must all work together during a narrow stretch of time. The team may spend weeks preparing for a summit push that lasts days. The price covers that preparation and keeps the expedition ready when weather permits the climb. Waiting has a direct cost. Food must remain available, shelters must remain usable, and staff must remain prepared. A schedule built around weather also means the climber pays for readiness during days when no upward movement happens. The attempt includes preparation, waiting, movement, and the decision to stop. Every serious operator says up front that the fee covers an attempt. A climber can pay for experienced staff, high-quality equipment, and the best available forecast and still turn around below the summit. Storms arrive early. Bodies fail at altitudes where recovery is impossible. A guide can decide that the day has run out of safety and send everyone down. The fee gives the guide authority to make that decision. The climber accepts those terms when signing the contract. Weather, altitude, and the climber's body determine the result. Some people pay the full price, do everything right, and go home without the summit. That limit defines the value of the purchase. The operator can organize access, labor, equipment, communication, and preparation. Those services improve the structure of the attempt. They cannot control every condition on the mountain or every response from a human body. Paying for support changes the preparation and the choices available during the climb. It leaves the outcome open. Tuition and starting a business also require tools, support, and opportunity. Effort, timing, and outside forces affect the result. People get into financial trouble when they budget for certainty while paying for an opportunity. Everest gives that mistake a clear example. Identify what a price includes before agreeing to it. That choice changes what you demand from the seller and from yourself. The same habit applies to any major purchase. Separate the service from the result. A service can provide access, preparation, equipment, guidance, and support. A result still depends on conditions outside the contract. That distinction makes a price easier to judge. It also shows why a cheaper offer and a more expensive offer may describe different levels of support. The number matters, but the list behind the number matters more. So that is what the money buys, and the list is long. A climber who pays for a place on Everest is paying for permission to be there, transport to one of the most remote places on Earth, weeks of food and shelter, equipment that works in brutal cold, a prepared route, experienced guides, high altitude workers, communication, forecasting, and the time a human body needs to adjust to air it was never built for. Every item on that list exists, so a person can stand at 29,031.7 feet and come back down alive. Operators sell attempts. Summits get decided by weather, altitude, and the strength left in the climber's own legs. Seen that way, the price stops looking like a luxury purchase and starts looking like the cost of the most elaborate support system an ordinary person can hire. If following the money up the mountain was worth your time, subscribe. There is a lot more history and economics where this came from. Hey, it's CJ, the creator of this channel. If you want to make YouTube videos like this, then topic2video.com will handle everything for you. Just input your topic, choose a video length, and a full-length video about your topic will come out the other side. I know it sounds simple, but it's true. Try it for free today at topic2video.com.